Hello, this is the first of a series of videos I'm wanting to make on the Shaykhi movement in 19th century Shi'ism. In this first video I want to give a very short overview of Shaykhism as described by the scholar Hamid Algar in a long article he wrote for Encyclopaedia Iranica on Shi'ism in Iran since the Safavids. So I recommend you have a look at that if you're interested. The article itself was first published in 2006, later updated in 2012. It's available both in print and online. Algar, as you probably know, is Professor Emeritus of Persian Studies at the Faculty of Near Eastern Studies at Berkeley, California, and his numerous publications include Religion and State in Iran, 1785 to 1906. The Shaykhi movement is named after Sheikh Ahmad Asai, who died in 1826, adding a further element of diversity to twelver Shi'ism in Iran and elsewhere, like the issues separating Usulis and Akhbaris that I described in a separate video. I'll give the link below. The distinctive teachings that set the Shaykhis aside from the main body of the community also related to the implications of the continued occultation of the 12th Imam, but more to the spiritual and cosmological aspects of the problem. Sheikh Ahmad and his followers propounded the notion of a fourth pillar, sometimes also translated as a fourth support, the Rokna Rabbe of religion, by which is meant the presence in the world of a perfect Shi, who serves as the privileged intermediary between the occulted Imam and the community. Implicit to this concept was the claim that first Asai himself and then his successors served as the intermediary in question. The Shaykhi masters located the Imam in the imaginal realm of Berkeley, where they also claimed the ascent, the mirage of the Prophet, had taken place, thus denying its corporeal descent, and the resurrection of all men would also occur there. We'll talk about the life of Sheikh Ahmad in far more detail in the next video. For the moment, let me just give you Algar's very brief summary. Asai came to Iran first in 1806 and was met with both acceptance and, much later, with denunciation. This from Haji Mullah Muhammad Taqi Barakani of Qazvin, who issued a fatwa declaring Asai to be an unbeliever, primarily because of his teachings concerning Mughaliya. Asai thereupon left Iran, first for the shrine cities of Iraq, where again he encountered hostility, and then for the Hejaz, dying in 1826. Algar has him dying in Jeddah, but we'll see next week that it's more likely he died approaching Medina. Asai's named successor was Sayyid Kazem Rashdi, resident in Karbala, who had made the acquaintance of Asai in Yazd and then accompanied him to the Atabat, the shrine cities of Iraq. Rashdi omitted to name a successor before his own death in 1843, with the result that several claimants to his mantle arose, and the Shaykhi community was sundered into four separate groups. The four rival claimants for Shaykhi leadership were as follows. First, by Sayyid Ali Muhammad, the Bab, the founder of the Babi movement, which is beyond the purview of this article. Secondly, by Mirza Hassan Gohar of Karbala, which never attracted much support in Iran. And then within Iran, the two major Shaykhi factions were first one in Tabriz, led by Haji Mirza Shafi Taqat Islam and Mullah Muhammad Mamaqani, and then the other one in Kerman, led by Haji Muhammad Karim Khan Kamani, a member of the Qajar family. Both the Tabriz and Kerman factions moved swiftly to normalize their doctrines, that is, to align them with the conventional beliefs of, well, the Shi'ism as then understood. And then Muhammad Karim Khan Kermani was particularly energetic in distancing Shaykhism from Babism. The main Shaykhi factions in Iran came to form distinct and fairly substantial communities in several places under the hereditary leadership of first Hujjat al-Islam and then the Taqat al-Islam family in Tabriz, and of the descendants of Muhammad Karim Khan in Kerman. In both Tabriz and Kerman, clashes repeatedly took place between the Shaykhis and their neighbours, in yet another manifestation of the recurring propensity of Iranian cities for factional warfare. The Shaykhis came to describe their Shi'i opponents as Balasaris, that is, those who paid their respects at the shrines of the Imams while standing at the head of their tombs, by contrast with the Shaykhis, who thought it more respectful to stand at the foot. Shaykhi Balasari clashes ravaged Kerman for a full year in 1878 and for a somewhat shorter period in 1905. On the latter occasion, it was rivalry for the control of the lucrative endowments that ignited the hostilities. In Tabriz, the Shaykhis were deemed heretics and ritually unclean, and they were accordingly denied access to the city's bathhouses. Hamadan also witnessed clashes between the Shaykhis and the Balasaris. Smaller Shaykhi communities than those in Tabriz and Kerman came into being in Khorramshahr, Abadan, Shiraz, and Zunuz. Since the Iranian Revolution of 1979, the most dramatic incident in relationship to the Shaykhis was the killing of Haji Abdul Reza Khan Ebrahani, the leader of the Kermani faction of the Shaykhi movement, on the 26th of December 1979. His death brought to an end the hereditary leadership of the movement that had been exercised by the Ebrahami family, and the transfer of its direction to Basra in southern Iraq. The Shaykhis were already more numerous in Iraq and elsewhere among the Shi'i communities of the Persian Gulf than in Iran. In 1985, the number of Shaykhis in Iran was estimated at being in the region of 200,000. So thank you very much for listening, and particular thanks to my patrons whose kind support and encouragement is essential really for me to make these videos. If you want to, you're very welcome to support my channel, like, comment and share on the videos, subscribe. If you want to be notified of future videos, I'll give Patreon and PayPal links below if you want to provide practical support. Next week we'll talk about the life of Sheikh Ahmad. Have a good day.